Good day, dear second year students of National University. You know, National University has taken a program of online classes since the educational institutions are closed. And in this program, I am with you. I am Khandakar Atikur Rahman, Associate Professor of English, Mominunessa Government Mohila College, Mymensingh. And I am here with you with romantic poetry course, and I will cover the whole course in 10 lectures. And today I am going to talk about William Blake. You know that in your syllabus, romantic poetry, you have 6 poets. They are William Blake, William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, George Gordon Lord Byron, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and John Keats. These six poets are all romantic poets. And we have the first poet, William Blake, is a bit different from other poets. You will know in the latter part of my lecture. Before going to the poems of the poets of I would like to have a little discussion on romanticism or romantic movement. And having knowledge about romanticism or romantic movement is very necessary for you to understand the poems of these 6 poets. So romanticism actually is a movement in literature in the later 18th century and early 19th century, and it began in 1798 with the publication of lyrical ballads by William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and this is the official starting of romantic movement. And the romantic period came immediately after the neoclassical is another age in the history of English literature, and these will be discussed in your another course, history of English literature. But I will give some idea about these things to help you understand the poems. Imagination is very important in romanticism, and the romantic poets are all imaginative, and they used imagination in their poems. And all the romantic poets had love for beauty and nature. They were worshipper of beauty, and all of them brought nature in their poems, and they were nature lovers. Nature had different philosophies to different poets you will come to know in the course of the time. And unlike neoclassical age, romantic poets valued human life. Human being was very important to them, and impulsiveness, what they thought, what they came to their mind, they brought in their poems. They had no hesitation to bring anything in their poems. And the most important thing in romanticism is subjectivity or individuality. A person is important thing. You will find a person, a poet in the poems. A poet is found in the poems. And mysticism, they are the romantic poets are very much fond of knowing the unknown and knowing something new. And a very clear distinction between neoclassical age and romantic age is the use of diction. There were some restriction of using diction in neoclassical age, and they had some set words, set words for using in the poems. They put some imposition on using any kind of diction or words. But Romantic poets broke this tradition, and uh, they actually used very simple uh, language, and language of the down to earth people. And another uh, uh, feature is supernaturalism. Supernaturalism is uh, found in the Romantic poets, and mostly we find supernaturalism in the poems of uh, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And this is uh, a bit about romantic movement or romanticism, and these characteristics or these things will be found in the poems of these six poets. That's why if you remember these things, it will be helpful for you to uh, understand the poems. Now, something about William Blake. So, uh, Songs of Innocence and Experience is the title of the poems written by William Blake. So, William Blake uh, was born in London on November 28, 1757, and died in August 12, 1827. And you see that a very important thing here to note, that the official beginning of Romantic movement, as I said earlier, was 1798, and uh, William Blake came much before that, and that's why uh, William Blake is called the precursor of Romantic poetry. That's Roman precursor of Romantic poetry. Actually, he started the Romantic uh, trend of writing poems, but officially he is not included in the uh, Romantic period. But he was also a Romantic poet, and that's why he is included in the Romantic uh, poetry course. And he was a lyrical poet, mystic, and he was a very good artist. And uh, you know, he was a very good artist, like our Rabindranath Tagore. And his family was not a very well-to-do family. He is the son of a hosier, uh, and he went to an art college, art school at the age of 10, and he learned drawing there. And very important thing to note, that he was a very religious person, and you will find in his poems and in his lyrical poems about these things. So this is about Songs of Innocence and Experience uh, by William Blake. And if uh, before I go into the poems, I will of course talk about the poems one by one, and make you understand the poems. Then before that, you should know some uh, themes and features of the poems of William Blake, especially of Songs of Innocence and Experience. The very title of the poems is important: Innocence and Experience. And uh, in the mouth of from the mouth of William Blake, we come to know that he has depicted the two contrary states of the human soul in these poems. Blake himself has uh, said this, that he has uh, brought two contrary states of the human soul. Human being has two uh, entities. Human beings have two sides of their soul, two sides of their character. One is good and one is bad. And uh, uh, This is in the language of Wordsworth. Language of Blake is innocence and experience. At one stage, people uh, uh, remain innocent, and when they become experienced, they come to realize the harsh reality of the world and harsh reality of life. That's why uh, William Blake has said that he has brought two contrary uh, states of the human soul. You will find in his poems when you read the poems. And in the poems of Songs of Innocence and Experience, we have criticism of society, both in the Songs of Innocence and in the Songs of Experiences. We have criticism of society. This is actually the duty of a poet to bring the anomalies or injustices occurring in the society to depict in their poems. And you will have childhood, obviously. Children uh, represents innocence, and uh, the childhood is prominent in uh, William Blake's Songs of Innocence and Experience. And in the poem, we will find that he has profound belief in God. Simplicity of life, simple lives are depicted here. Symbolism and mysticism. Most of the poems of Blake are symbolically very important. The outer meaning uh, is very simple. Uh, Dear students, you will uh, see that Blake's poems are very simple to read. You will easily understand the surface meaning of the poem. But if you uh, want to analyze the poems, you will find deeper meanings and symbolisms are there, and mysticism. You will find some uh, uh, deeper meanings where you will find the mysticism. And as I said, William Blake was a precursor of Romantic poets. He had one of the very important aspects of Romantic poets, rural setting, and his poems are most of the poems of Blake are pastoral poems, and rural setting is there. So uh, 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 by this time you have uh, had some idea about your course, and you have some idea about romantic movement, and you have got some traits about romantic uh, uh, poetries, and you have had some ideas about William Blake's poems, Songs of Innocence and Experience, and what is his poems about. Now, with this knowledge, uh, you uh, will go to the text of the poems. If you read text one by one, you will come to know that what a beautiful poet uh, uh, William Blake was. And my suggestion to you is that to read the texts thoroughly. There is no alternative to read text. I found many students not reading text. They only summarize, they only memorize the uh, answers to the questions, and they go to the exam halls. So this is not the system of uh, studying literature. Yeah, literature study is a bit different from other subject. And as I uh, tell my students, literature is very interesting thing, and you will learn through pleasure, and you will get pleasure from reading the text, and you will be deprived of many things if you do not read the text by the authors. So I think you have enough of the background knowledge of the poems. Now, if we go to the uh, poems you have in your syllabus, you will uh, be very happy, I think, and this will help you writing your answers. If you understand the uh, poems thoroughly, and if you uh, have the free hand writing capacity as a student of English literature, as a student of uh, English honors, you must have the capacity to write on your own. There is no alternative to it. So, uh, if you understand the poems and if you read the text, you will you can do a very good result without memorizing answers. You will be able to write your own answers in the exam hall. So I want to start with the poem Introduction. This is the first poem in your syllabus. You have, I think, five poems in your Innocence part, Innocence segment. You have five poems, and you have. So, in my first lecture, I will try to cover all the poems from Songs of Innocence, and in my second lecture, I will try to cover the Songs of Experiences by William Blake. So introduction. Introduction, you know the meaning of the word introducing something, beginning of something. So let's read the poem and let's analyze it. Five. So this is, before going to the text, I'd like to say that the poet uh, uh, is thought of as a child, and he was uh, piping in the field, and suddenly uh, he saw a child in the cloud, and the child was talking to him. So the child in the cloud, you have symbolic meaning. I will tell you later. So let's go to the text. Introduction. Piping down the valleys, wild piping songs of pleasantly. On a cloud, I saw a child, and he laughing said to me. So uh, uh, the the child in the cloud said to me. That means the poet is thinking himself as a shepherd boy. He's a shepherd boy, and uh, uh, he's in the field, and suddenly he saw a child. What did the child say to the shepherd? Pipe a song about a lamb. So we get a very important word or idea about lamb. So the child requests the shepherd to pipe a song about a lamb. The child, lamb, all symbolizes innocence, meekness, and purity in literature. So, and the lamb has another significance I will tell you later. Pipe a song about a lamb, so I piped with merry cheer according to the wish of the uh, boy, the shepherd, or the poet uh, piped um, a merry song. Piper, piper, that song again, so I piped, he waved to hear. And the boy in the cloud wanted to listen to this song again and again. And uh, when the shepherd repeated the song, the innocent child wept to hearing the song. Drop thy pipe, thy happy pipe, sing thy song of happy cheer. So I sang the same again while he wept with joy to hear. When the shepherd, when the poet repeated the uh, song again and again, the child wept to hear it. There must be some element, uh, there must be some touching element to hear that the child wept. Piper, sit now the child suggests something to the uh, poet. Piper, sit thee down and write in a book that all may read. So he vanished from my sight, and I plucked a hollow reed. So he said that if you do not write down the uh, poem, then the latter generation will miss it. So he uh, suggests the writer to record it in a book. So as soon as he said this, he departs from the side of the poet, and immediately the poet starts uh, writing the song in a book, and with a hollow reed, a kind of natural pen. And I made a rural pen, and I stained the water clear, and I wrote my happy song, every child may joy to hear. So uh, uh, there must, uh, he wrote the poem, and generation after generation, the uh, uh, child or the children will read this poem, and will be uh, much delighted to uh, have the subject matter of the song, which must be very touching, uh, that the child in the cloud swept every time he heard the song. So this is the poem, and the child's request to write the poem is a kind of divine inspiration for the poets. From the introduction, uh, Blake wants to say that a poet is born. A poet is born through a divine inspiration. So this is it. This is all about uh, uh, introduction. And one thing I must say, that the lamb or the child symbolizes uh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, the child, lamb, all are similar in terms of innocence. And this is a very uh, uh, nice beginning of the songs of innocence. All the elements of innocence is brought in the introductory poem named Introduction. So let's go to the next poem, The Lamb. You had the word in the poem uh, introduction. And as I have already explained, the lamb symbolizes Jesus Christ. So this must be a very significant poem. Little lamb who made, let's read the poem. Little lamb who made thee, dost thou know who made thee, gave thee life and beat the feet by the stream and over the mead, gave the clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright, gave thee such a tender voice, making all these veils rejoice. So we have a series of questions. The poet is uh, asking the lamb if he knows who made thee. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? And the lamb is so delightful that the lamb has softest clothing, woolly bright. The lamb is full of wool, we know. Gave this such a tender voice. The lamb has very sweet, tender, soft voice, which uh, uh, is very rejoicing to the whole belt. So lamb must be very soft voiced, very tender natured, very beautiful, because it symbolizes Jesus Christ. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? The same question again. This is the question. The poet has put emphasis on these questions because uh, uh, we know who made thee. The God has made thee, made the lamb, and God has made Jesus Christ. Little lamb, I will tell. We know that little lamb actually in practical life, or practically lamb cannot answer, and the poet, that's why the poet himself answers the question. Little lamb, I will tell thee. Little lamb, I will tell thee. He is called by thy name, by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. So this is Jesus Christ, the God himself compares himself with lamb. He's meek, he's mild. He became a little child. I a child and thou a lamb. So when he was born in Bethlehem, he was a child, and I a child and thou a lamb. We are all we are called by his name. We all are the same. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. So uh, uh, you have some elements of uh, 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 the introduction, the previous poem introduction here, because the child, lamb, Jesus Christ, all are uh, uh, here uh, uh, carrying the quality of innocence, and they uh, hold the same qualities: meekness, mildness, and innocence. This is lamb, another very beautiful poem. So, dear students, if you read after my class, you will also understand the meaning very easily, and you will be delighted to have the uh, poem. So, our next poem is the chimney sweeper. When my chimney sweeper is a bit different from other uh, my previous two poems. Uh, Two poems, and uh, and we have a very different kind of poem, the chimney sweeper, and uh, and a very harsh reality is brought about uh, in this poem, the chimney sweeper. Very small children uh, did the job of chimney sweeping, and this is very tragic. This is very tragic for the small children to do the job. So let's read it. When we read this poem, you will understand. When my mother died, I was young, and this is the statement. The speaker is a chimney sweeper. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while my yet yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. So you see that this is a very tragic thing. Is when my mother, at the very uh, young age, his mother died, and his father sold him to the chimney owners, and he was a very small boy at that time. There is little Tom Decker. Tom Decker is another fellow boy, Tom Decker, who cried when his head that curled like a lamb's back was saved. So I said, "Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair." So when Tom Decker's head was shaved, he was very depressed, and the speaker consoled him, saying that it has been a very good thing to shave the head, because the black suit will not spoil his hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, and as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, or all of them locked up in a coffins of black. So he uh, Tom at that night had a bad dream that they were locked in a coffin. This symbolizes that their innocence is actually locked up. Their innocent period is destroyed by their work, and by came an angel who had a bright key. So in the songs of innocence, we will always get some hope. Uh, an angel uh, comes to rescue them from the uh, predicament. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they ran and wish in a river and shine in the sun. This happens all in their uh, dream, and this is the actual. This actually should happen to childs. They will be free like bird, and they will run in the field. They will play in the field without any obstacle. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise up cloud and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom, if they would be good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. The angel inspires their work, but since they cannot help doing this odd job, angels inspired them that if they do their good job, God will be uh, satisfied and God will be merciful to them. And Tom awoke and we rose in the dark and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they needed not fear harm. So the last uh, uh, line of the poem is very significant for us adults. If we all do our duty properly, then there cannot be any harm to ourselves, and there cannot be any harm to our society. There cannot be any harm to our nation. We all should do our own duties. So this is a chimney sweeper, very famous poem of William Blake, and uh, this is uh, a very famous poem in the sense that we have a very grim situation uh, of a society, and the society is criticized through this poem Chimney Sweeper. Though we have positive things in the Songs of Innocence segment, we'll have different in the experience segment. So despite the positive things, we find the criticism of society. So this is the chimney sweeper. Our next poem is Holy Thursday. So Holy Thursday is a poem. Holy. Uh, so let's read the poem. It was Holy Thursday. What is Holy Thursday? Holy Thursday is the actually the Ascension day. That is when Jesus Christ, after crucifixion, rose from his grave and ascended to the uh, uh, ascended to uh, heaven. Uh, and this happened after 40 days after resurrection. And during on the occasion of this religious happening, uh, some churches uh, arranged some functions. It was so I read the poem. It was on a holy Thursday. Their innocent faces clean. The children walking two and two in red and blue and green. Gray-headed beadles walked before with wands as white as snow. Till into the high dome of walls they like Thames water flow. Oh, what a multitude they seemed. These flowers of London town seated in companies the seat, with radiance all their own. The hum of multitudes was there, but multitudes of lambs, thousands of little boys and girls raising their innocent hands. Now like a mighty wind, they rise to heaven the voice of song, or like harmonious thunderings, the seat of heaven among beneath them sit the aged men, wise guardians of the poor. Then cherish pity, lest you drive an angel from your uh, door. So uh, 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 the authority, the church authority, compels some boys to uh, sing songs in the church. This is depicted in this poem, Holy Thursday. So our next uh, poem is Nurse's Song. Nurse's Song is the last of the songs of innocence. Nurse's Song. Nurse meaning guardian. Nurse meaning uh, the uh, person who takes care of children. And here in the innocence portion, we'll find the nurse very uh, mild and very good person. When voices of children are, so the nurse has brought the children to the field, and um, the children are playing, and she's overseeing them. When voices of children are heard on the green and laughing is heard on the hill, my heart is at rest within my breast, and everything else is still. So the speaker is the nurse here. Then come home, my children, the sun is gone down and the dews of night arise. Come, come, leave of play and let us away till the morning appears in the sky. So when the sun is about to set, he uh, requests, he calls upon the children to stop playing and come back. No, no, let us pray, for it is yet day and we cannot go to sleep. The children answer that they still want to play a little bit more. Besides, their argument is, besides in the sky the little birds fly. They argue that birds are still flying in the sky. Why shouldn't they? So the children are comparing themselves with the birds, and the hills are all covered with sheep. Well, well, go and play till the night fades away, and then go home to bed. The little ones leaped and shouted and laughed, and all the hills echoed. So when the children demand some more time to play, uh, the nurse allows them to play, and their uh, uh, joy is no bound after getting some more time to play. So this is the nurse, a very good lady in this segment of Songs of Innocence, and we see that in the Songs of Innocence segment, everything is very possible that should happen to them. And in the uh, latter part, we'll see the harsh realities. So I will discuss in the songs of experience section. So, dear students, uh, I think you have understood the poems, and you have enjoyed the uh, lecture. And uh, if you again read the poems, you will be benefited. And I stop here today, inviting you to join my next lecture on William Blake's Songs of Experience in my second uh, lecture. Thank you very much for attending the class.